Clone Army was supposed to be one of the best armies ever to grace the galaxy, and its troops were meant to be far superior to that of the Separatist droids. However, we see time and time again groups of clone soldiers employ straight-up suicidal tactics not too dissimilar to that of the droids. But why exactly is this? Now, this first occurred to me whilst watching the latest episode of the Clone Wars, and seeing clones stand up tall on some crates without any real cover whilst being surrounded by battle droids. And this isn't the only instance where this happens, there are a few other examples, and it really doesn't make any sense. You end up with them using a similar strategy to early modern warfare where people had just developed muskets, where basically opposing sides would just line up and take it in turns shooting at one another. And this does make sense for a force such as the droid army, who have almost limitless amounts of reserve troops. But for the clones it doesn't. They're supposed to be smart, they're supposed to be using cover, and we know they can do that because they do it all the time. So why in some cases do they just not bother? Now, I do have a few ideas, but none are exactly concrete. The most likely reason is just that it's quite annoying to animate, but we want to try to come up with some sort of a reason that makes sense for the lore about why would clones be standing there in such opportune positions to be shot. I mean, we can consider things such as the scenario. In the one I previously discussed, the clones were surrounded on all sides, and therefore cover was very, very limited. But you'd still think that they would try to adopt some form of cover as opposed to just standing up straight. I think the real answer likely leads with who they're fighting, and that's the droids. Remember, the clones were trained to fight battle droids in their simulations, and they had pretty extensive knowledge on how they behaved. We also need to remember who the clones were fighting alongside, and that's the Jedi. I think it makes sense that a B-1 battle droid who's simply programmed is going to be trying to target the biggest threat, which is of course the Jedi, meaning the majority of the droids in this scenario are going to be aiming and shooting at the Jedi as opposed to the clones, meaning that they don't need to worry about being shot at as much. We also need to consider what the Jedi add to the equation. Jedi played a more defensive role in a lot of these big battles, focusing on deflecting blasts, and it's possible but not confirmed that the Jedi were actively protecting their troops. They have the Force, perhaps they're noticing which blaster bolts are going to hit their allies and they're deflecting them. This would explain why they and their short-range lightsabers are back in the defensive line, and not in the brunt of the droid forces cleaving them apart. Finally, again, we need to talk about the droids. The B-1s, anyways, are pretty terrible, and as we've discussed numerous times, they were made cheaply and relatively ineffective. That's why they needed so many of them to win battles. Now, we don't know how likely they were to actually hit what they were aiming at, but it's possible that they were so poor quality that they were really just firing in a general vicinity. And for this reason, the clones knew that standing still and moving around were basically as safe as one another. The chance of a droid actually hitting you was the same as you accidentally walking into the path of a blaster bolt. At the end of the day, we see clones act far more cautiously and even panic in some cases when higher quality droids such as B-2s, Commandos and Dwarf Spider droids enter the fight. And that makes sense, because these droids were far more advanced, and they were far more likely to hit the target before them. But what do you guys think? Could these reasons be accurate, or do you simply just believe it was a minor oversight when animating the battle scenes? Let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed. Please do remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated, and also thank you so much. We have just hit 100,000 subscribers, and I'm over the moon about it. There will be a video coming soon, but just thank you so much for it. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLoreGuy and tick the bell for regular updates, but most importantly, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.